Here, and we're going to go to Golden Gate Bridge. We're under.
So here we just took out the raw water pump. Noticed that there was a bit of leaking and the engine was running hot. We did replace this when we was back in Sausalito. Was it back in April time maybe, was it? Yeah, it must have been about April time. The old shaft had been left a while and you can see this all scored there. That's right where the this little gasket sits. Where are you? This gasket sits inside. And over time that'll just wear through, and because the old one, the bearings had shot and this was moving like sideways and then wore its way through there, started leaking. Bought a shaft there. So a guy at Pioneer and Euclid put it on the lathe, didn't he, and shaved it down a little bit, but said it wouldn't last forever. And you can see here as well on the old bearings where it's wore in there. So we bought a new kit knowing it wouldn't last forever. Now it's come to that time we've got to change it, so yeah, I just hammered out the old bearings and I found that the old bearings, yeah, they're just shot. They're like, there's loads of play on the shaft. The guy had to put so much force to press them in. I think he had like a six ton press. It was really tough to put in. These ones have literally, I'm just using a ball joint press here and it's going in smooth like butter. So I think maybe the last bearings that we had there weren't the right ones. So these are much smoother. Got a brand new shaft. Bearings are already on the shaft. So we're just gonna press this in, put it all back together, put a new impeller in there. We should be good to go. The old impeller, but really it's in good shape. Could still use that. I might keep hold of it as like a backup spare in emergency. But yeah, we'll put a new one in, and then I know it's all new and good. So. Sits in when I play. Perfect. So you can get some grease down in there. In case any salt water does make its way past the gasket, it's got a little bit of protection. So we got it in, the new impeller's in. We got gasket and a new cover plate. With a spare gasket, O-ring gasket, so that we need to keep safe there, so keep that in the old box of spares. New one's all pressed in. I'm just going to clean this surface now. Got some aviation former gaskets. I'm going to spread some of that on there, stick this on, some on the back side, and fit it back to the engine. Should be good to go. Just using really fine sandpaper here. I don't damage the surface, and just slowly take layer off at a time, clean it all up. So yeah, got the gaskets on, aviation glue either side, kind of holds it in place and improves the seal. Cleaned up the surface on the engine, and now the hard part is to fit it on there. I thought I'd check the exhaust elbow while I was in here. If you can see, there's something stuck up in there. I can't quite make out what that is at the moment. I wonder if it's the zinc from here, because I replaced this and there was no zinc in it. So I'm wondering if the zinc popped out. And that's what's been up in there. Yeah, just got it out. It was the zinc. The old zinc that was in there, so it must have broke off at some point. And
then just got sucked up the tube.
Yeah, it got stuck in the exhaust elbow. So we have to keep an eye out, maybe replace that one more often.
Well, at least noticed it, it's all fixed.
Yeah.
So that should stop our, well, should solve our overheating issue.
Yeah.
We had with the engine. Nice.
That with the raw water pump that was messed up.
Yeah. Well, that needed, yeah, because that needed rebuilding anyway, didn't it? So.
Yeah, the combination of the two.
Our IAS unit had been troubleshooted after the problems we were having with it, and we found that the GPS signal was broken. So after back and forth with the company, we were able to ship this one back for a refund to buy another new one.
Find number 2 or 3 of today.
Well, we know. Oh my god!
It had. It was
Noticed
like
the
leaking,
flame.
wasn't it?
Yeah, I noticed the flame wasn't right, so I was like, let's not use that. And when we stop, we'll have a look.
I might have to.
But that was the issue. Gonna need some new burners.
After a morning of repairs, we treated ourselves to some sweet goodies.
We got gummies, we got raspberries, we got sours, we got sour, we got big eggs, we got sharp, we got snazzies, we got jazzies, we got it all.
I'm gonna try one of these little pineapples.
Pineapple. Ready next?
Come on.
Yeah, okay. I'm gonna try one of these things. That's good.
Good. Bring it.
The anchorage here was still and surprisingly quiet considering how close we were to the city.
We've got Old Ducky and then our new inflatable here. So Bill's just going to head back to the boat and get the other parcel that goes with this.
Before we knew that Ducky was found, we thought we'd lost it forever, so I had already placed an Amazon order for a new one. Let us know in the comments what you think we should name her.
We go side by side. One little bid farewell.
Yeah, that's the bit that broke, that was meant to be hill as well.
That's how she got lost. We put the engine on that one now. We need to get this one back as well, so. Being passenger princess and being towed back to the boat. Quite nice having our own boat each. It's more room. About to go on a tram ride. That's exciting.
It's Chinatown away.
Somebody for the cuisine.
In San Francisco, the cable car system is one of the most iconic forms of public transport in the world, and the last of its kind still in operation. It first opened in 1873. The creator wanted a safer way to travel up the city's steep hills. Instead of engines, each car grips a continuously moving cable that runs beneath the street, powered from a central powerhouse. At its peak, San Francisco had over 20 cable car lines, but today only 3 remain. The most popular routes include the Powell-Hyde line and the Powell-Mason line, both connecting downtown to the waterfront. The system survived major events like the 1906 San Francisco earthquake, but nearly disappeared in the 20th century as buses and cars started to take over. But public campaigns helped save it, and in 1964 it was officially designated a National Historic Landmark. Today, the cable cars are operated as part of the city's transit system, carrying millions of passengers each year, not just as transport, but as a living piece of San Francisco history. Tucked right into the heart of the city, San Francisco's Chinatown is the oldest Chinatown in North America and one of the largest outside of Asia. It dates all the way back to 1800s, when Chinese immigrants arrived during the gold rush, searching for opportunity and a new life. But it wasn't easy. Discrimination and laws like the Chinese Exclusion Act made life incredibly difficult and shaped much of the neighborhood's history. Despite that, Chinatown survived. Today, Chinatown isn't just a place to visit, it's a living piece of history telling the story of generations who built a life here against the odds. Now it was time to explore the bay, but first we stopped at the fuel dock.
We're just at the dock. Bill's gone to pick up some parcels that we need. It's just across the road from here. Filling up with fuel, getting water. We were going to pump out, but they said that the pump out's not working that well, so yeah, and then we're good to go. We're going to go to Angel Island for a hike, and then maybe Richardson Bay after, so still staying in the San Fran area.
Our next venture would be sailing past Alcatraz en route to Angel Island. It was fast sailing, as the winds got up as it always does in the bay.
These boats out here, there was about, how many do you reckon there were of them when we came out? Yeah. Yeah, there's about 30 of these as we came out of the dock just now.
Rising out of the middle of San Francisco Bay, Alcatraz Island is one of the most infamous prisons in the world. But long before it became a prison, it was a military fort built to protect the bay during the 1800s. By 1934, Alcatraz had been transformed into a maximum security federal penitentiary, designed to hold the most dangerous and escape-prone criminals in America. Names like Al Capone and Robert Stroud were locked up here, far from the mainland, surrounded by freezing, fast-moving water. They said no one could escape, but in 1962, 3 inmates vanished into the night, their fate still one of America's greatest mysteries. Life on the Rock was harsh. Strict routines, total isolation, and the constant sound of the outside world just out of reach. The prison closed in 1963, but its story didn't end there. In 1969, Native American activists occupied the islands for 19 months, a powerful protest that changed US policies toward indigenous rights. Today, Alcatraz stands on a historic site, a place of stories, legends, and echoes of everyone who passed through its walls. We had previously taken a tour around the infamous island a few years back, and highly recommend the visit. Angel Island is the largest natural island in the bay, and one of the most layered pieces of history on the west coast. The island was originally home to the Coast Miwok people, who hunted and fished here thousands of years ago. But Angel Island is best known through the story that is quite the opposite. From 1910 to 1940, it served as a main immigration station on the west coast, processing hundreds of thousands of arrivals, many from China and other parts of Asia. Unlike Ellis Island, where most immigrants were welcomed, many people here were detained for weeks, months, and sometimes even years. Interrogations were intense and conditions were tough, all part of the strict immigration laws like the Chinese Exclusion Act. Some of those detained carved poems into the wooden walls. There were stories of hope, frustration, and longing.
What was it?
Yes, where it was.
School? Prison? What was it? Hospital? Oh. Okay, this is the pay station for the official mail.
Over the years, the island also has been a military base, a quarantine station, and even a launch point for the soldiers heading to war. Today it's a peaceful state park with hiking trails, views of the Golden Gate Bridge, and a powerful reminder of the journeys that pass through here. Leaving this beautifully eerie island, we motored around the corner to the anchorage at Richardson Bay, just outside Sausalito, where we will stay a couple of nights.
There you go, we're anchored here for the night. And just there is Golden Gate Bridge. You've got the city. And Bay Bridge all the way over there. All wrapped up. Absolutely soaked.
Thank you so much for watching. If you're enjoying our videos, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And a special thank you to our YouTube members and Patreons, helping us to keep sailing along.